That is very weird. All right, so welcome everyone. Today we're going to have a little talk that it's been a while. A lot of us wanted to definitely come on and talk and share a little bit about some issues that some of us may have and might be taboo to talk about, or maybe some of us think that we really can't be talking about it. And I just want to make sure, I know Leslie said that we're live in the group, but I'm seeing that it's still, that it's stopped. So I'm just trying to find it in the group and, okay. Well, if it's still working and you're good, just checked and it was on. All right, thank you, Neva. I appreciate that. And Denny, glad to hear that you can hear. Perfect, awesome. Well, thank you everyone for being here today. I know that we had a lot of people that wanted to hop on this Zoom, either from having questions or just wanted to hear different topics and different reasons in areas of our lives where a lot of people have a hard time talking about the sex topic. And when it comes to sex, it doesn't mean only intercourse. There's so many other areas and things, and there's so many good and bad about it. So we wanted to kind of open it up a little bit, either help you with your intimacy, with your self-love, or your relationship if you are in a relationship, and just talking about this taboo subject, which we've been working on a 12-week journey. So far, we've worked a lot on our happiness, on our health, on our mindset, on our nutrition, on our spirituality, and different things like that. But a lot of people, I know when it comes to having a relationship, they either lack, sometimes they have questions, sometimes they have fear. So we wanted to talk about that. And first and foremost, before I get started and I forget, I wanted to say happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Today is a day to, not only today, I mean every day should be Father's Day, Mother's Day. Just be grateful, tell people that you appreciate them, and always wanted to, I feel when they have holidays like that, sometimes people focus just one day, give attention all year long, but you're allowed to spoil the dad today in your life. And if those people are not there anymore, or sometimes you might be trying to be a dad and it doesn't happen, I feel that everyone, when it comes to holidays, it's just a weird, I don't know why, because sometimes you post something positive and then somebody else is in pain. So I'm sending love wherever it's needed today, and just blessed to have amazing men in our family. So thank you everyone for the amazing fathers that you are, if you're watching and you're a father. So with that being said, if you have any questions, feel free to comment there. And obviously, because I can't see on Facebook the live, I might not be able to comment, reply to you guys' comments. So what I have is 5 different topics I want to talk about today. Okay, I see it now. Perfect. Hey, Nicole. Oh, I see Nicole went and got in a little corner somewhere. She was saying she was busy because it was Father's Day, but that she may sneak out somewhere. And there I see her that she sneaked out. So awesome. And perfect. So people watching on Facebook, say hello if you're live, and a replay if you're on the replay. And today I wanted to say, disclaimer first and foremost, I am not a professional. I'm not a sex therapist. I'm not here to promise you that this is going to magically help you and spice up your life. I used to be a passion party consultant, which meant I did parties. I went to your house with your friends. If anyone you invited, I did a presentation. I shared some adult toys and things that could improve your relationship, your self-love, like I mentioned earlier. And then I talked to couples, I talked to ladies, I talked to men. I heard about the things that either they had issues with, they had questions about. So I have always been open about it, and it's something that a lot of people are shy. And when you're in a relationship, whether it's new, whether it's 10 years, 30 years together, you always have things and places you can improve. And I have little black buggers biting me, so you're gonna see me do this. I have a bite here, so I apologize for that. And if it gets too bad, I'll just walk inside. But so my notes for today, I wanted to talk about the 5 things, and feel free to share as we go. And if you have questions, we can do that. But today's going to be a shorter one, and then we'll get it in more in-depth one where I'm going to get people to register for the webinar. I want to make sure we have a bigger audience because I made a post 6 months ago and I had 140 people that commented on it that they were interested in a group like this or in a Zoom like this. And I know these people would like to join us. So the first and foremost thing I want to talk about, it comes to emotional feelings and physical. So people in your life, you are affected emotionally, and that can affect your day, that can affect your time with your family, it can affect your time with your loved one. And sometimes people don't realize that the physical and the emotional can go together and totally ruin your date night or whatever you plan on having, because ladies and men are different. Men do have feelings. I'm not saying they don't have feelings, but I'm saying men can forget things instantly to think about sex. Like men can see like and not all men, but I'm like most of them, because I've been friends with a lot of them most of my life, and when they see something sexy or something that turns them on, they can completely forget about the pain, about the sadness, about this, and turn around and be like, okay, let's do this. Ladies are complicated. How many ladies have a hard time getting into the mood when they've had something trauma happen or they had something sad? And it can go both ways too, because I've seen people, when they get traumatic experience, they turn to sex. They like, it's like a drug for them. They want to do it just to forget. So there's, you know, and I'm like, I'm not an expert, and I don't only speak from personal experience, I speak from overall. But mostly men has a easier time to turn down things, to forget about them, put them away in a little box for enjoying that pleasure. And ladies, they have a harder time because they might think, oh, the laundry's not done, or they might be self-conscious of their body, or they might think, well, you know what, I'm tired, or they might have a headache. And a lot of times men don't realize that they could have done a little thing differently. And it goes the same for ladies. Like, have you ever been so tired after a day of work or after a day of just running with the kids or whatever it is that you do, and the last thing on your mind you want to do is to have intercourse, and then you get there and your significant loved one is ready and they're all interested, and all of a sudden you're like feeling bad, and then you give yourself, okay, you know what, let's just do it. So the performance is maybe not that exciting. You just do it to get rid of it, and then doesn't really make the other one feel that much special, does it? So for me, I want to know, like, what do you love? Like, that's something to understand about yourself. Do you love it when you get your ears touched? Do you love it when somebody whispers in your neck? Do you love it when you have a feather running down or, you know, on your body, an ice cube feeling? Like, ask yourself, what are the physical things that your body loves? And it's not going to be the same for everyone. Some people like nibbles, some people likes to be slapped, some people likes to have massages, some people likes to be told beautiful things. So once you know what you like, then you can share with your partner, and you can give hints, or even better, you can do it to them. Sometimes men and women don't communicate because they're afraid, they're not confident. A lot of people are self-aware of their body, and they don't do certain things because they're afraid to be judged. Men are not on the romantic side usually. Now it's changing, but for years ago, they have to be strong in men, and not, like, I'm the kind of lady that I would bring flowers to my husband. I would have not done that 50 or 100 years ago, because that's something that you don't see happening, you know? I'm the one who went after my husband, not the other way around. So times are changing. And when it comes to sex and a relationship, there can be so many different types. There can be some just, what are those called? Booty buddies, or whatever it's called, when you're just friend having sex just to have sex with no love. Just people, you know, you're going out every weekend's a different person, because I mean, people are young, sometimes that happens. Just make sure you're safe, please. And that's fine. There's the sex where you can have meaningless and just for the pleasure, or you know, and then there's the other one where you're really passionate about somebody, and there's different. And you want to long term be able to know your partner, but know yourself also, so you can enjoy both the same type of experience, but you can grow together and try new things. So besides asking, what do you love? What gives you shivers? What makes you sigh? Like, what makes you like, after you guys are done doing the deed, how you can give that big sigh and have like, what else in life does that to you? There's other things that does that to you. So you want to increase those things in your life. You want to increase what gives you shivers. There's thoughts in your mind that I'm sure you can program right now to turn yourself on. And that's what a lot of people don't do. Because when it's time, and a lot of times, especially if you got kids, young kids, you don't have time. You work around with naps, or you work around with once the baby's in bed if he wants to sleep. And sometimes you can get drained. But a lot of times is if you do those small little things, it can help you forget about the big day that you had. Maybe you're, like I said, the baby was teething, he didn't want to sleep, and you had a date night planned, and it's just, you don't feel like it. But if your partner knows that you love a little rub down, and you love to be talked in a certain way, and you like to be flirted with, you can do that throughout the day. So, which it goes back to my number 2, which is factors to stop the flame. So have you asked yourself what stops you, what prevents you from feeling that I want that sex in my life, or I want to be touched, I want that feeling and emotion? Stress is the number one thing that will stop you from having a healthy sex life. Then the news, don't have the radio on while you're trying to get turned on. That's the worst thing ever. TV, the same thing, no commercials. I mean, that's just common sense, but sometimes people don't realize the kids, are you trying to do that when, like, and I know some people, especially now in quarantine and lockdown, it's a little bit different now, but I know the last few weeks might have been harder for parents at home with young kids. So you have to be maybe you have to put an alarm at 1 o'clock and wake up your husband or wife for a little quickie or surprise them. And sometimes you have to really give yourself a little push and like be like, all right, because nobody's going to do it for you. And I hope not, because if you want to stay healthy in your relationship, and I know some people might be watching this and you might not have a partner, and that's fine. So that can be for the future. But also all of what I'm asking is for yourself too, because there's self-pleasure, and that's can't say as good, as important as having a healthy relationship within your couple's life too. So kids, there's also food, the food that you put into your body. Have you ever been too bloated to even think about sex? I know that happens a lot. They go on dates and then it's like, oh, the food's done. They have to unbutton their pants, but not for the right reasons, right? And then you don't really feel comfortable. So maybe if you know that you're going to be on a date, maybe try having foreplay and having your time with the person first and then go out to eat or have fun with food. Get the strawberries out and have a dessert. Just saying, you have to try to do different things. Drugs, booze, and when I say drugs, I mean medication. Medication has decreased so many libido, and especially women. I don't know for men if it does the same thing, but for women, I've heard from many of them when I did passion parties, they had no feeling down there. They could not have an orgasm anymore. Medication was making them a zombie. They just couldn't love themselves. I personally felt that years ago when I was heavily medicated, and I even thought, like, am I still in love in my marriage? So if you're feeling like that, you definitely don't care to have sex. So sometimes, and I'm not telling you to stop taking your medication, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm just saying if you have a hard time thinking, why am I not excited anymore? Why am I too tired? Why is my body feeling this way? Why is there no sensation down there? And that happens. There's men that has erectile dysfunction for those reasons too, because of medications. And people don't really know because they don't read the label. So I just thought I'd share that. The food too, not only to make you bloated, but some food can affect you. Like some food can affect you and help you, like more aphrodisiac. Like they say oysters and different foods that makes you supposedly in a better mood. We actually have a spray that can help you with that. It's called Peak. It has deer antler velvet in it, superfruits, antioxidant. If you ever have any issues, I've had reports and testimonials for erectile dysfunction. I've had that for hormonal problem. I've had people come back to me and tell me that they've never been that hard pardon my French, too much information, but we're on a sex talk here. And sometimes that's a problem in a couple. And some men, sometimes they can't stay hard. Same as women. Sometimes they're not in the good mood. So for me, that's been a staple at my house. We call it peak night when we want to, you know, I know it's going to help put me in a good mood. Of course, I have to make an effort, and the guy does too, but it does help with the hormonal side too. Other than that, social media. Have you ever had somebody try to have foreplay or sex and the phone's right there, or they're there, and you're trying to get attention from your loved one, and you're just watching what's going on Facebook? That turn your Facebook off, turn your cell phone off. I mean, your electronics shouldn't be in the room unless you're making videos or something. And I mean, that's fine if that's what you want. No judgment here, but just saying the cameras and cell phone and that shouldn't be around. Like, give your attention, whether it's 5 minutes or an hour, or maybe it's a few hours. Give your sex life some attention. Not being in the moment and being in pain. Painful sex has been one of the biggest things for ladies, especially young ladies I hear that has issues like endometriosis, like myself, PCOS, a lot of different issues in their reproductive system. And it means that certain times of the month, their uterus and their body is shaped differently, and it moves, like the parts in there, they move up, move down, and it can be more painful. And if you have a relationship and you don't communicate properly, then it can turn into very bitter. I had a lot of issues speaking about that to my husband, because he would feel like he would hurt me, and then he would get upset if it would hurt, and then I would feel targeted as a victim. Then he wasn't interested anymore, because he's like, well, I'm just going to hurt you. And then it's hard to say, well, it might hurt me and it might not hurt me. And unfortunately, that lasted for years. And it wasn't until I introduced that, for me, was that peak spray that really helped and changed everything. And I know so many ladies that reaches out and they have pain, whether it's during or after. And the scared, like the feeling of having pain, like, and it's not fun, thinking like, is this going to hurt, instead of, is this going to be fun? Right. And for some ladies, it gets bad that, like, I've even heard like ladies throwing up from pain, you know, crying from pain. And if you're a guy or a girl, like, depending on, I mean, there's gay couples, like, have nothing against any type of sex as long as it's consensual and human to human, you know, that's fine with me. But emotions, physical, and everything that goes around in your life can definitely affect it. So if you have pain, you should definitely check with your doctor. We had a physical pelvic therapist here a few weeks ago that shared with us. I believe she's on. And I know that there are some amazing topics in there. And there's stuff that sometimes, if you have questions and you want to discuss it further, feel free to reach out, because we have different people in this group. I've even seen that there's some spiritual leaders that uses orgasms to manifest a lot of things. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. Some people, it really empowers them, and it gives them a crazy cosmic energy. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for, but it can put you in a productive mood. Having an orgasm also can help decrease the pain. I remember when I was in child labor, they told me that. They were like, well, if you're really that open, you can give yourself an orgasm to try to decrease the pain from the contractions. And I'm the lady that went to the hospital with a lube in my, I never used it, but just to say that's how open I was and how different. And I understand how it can release it. Have you ever felt how your body sometimes can have different ones too? Sometimes you can get like all sweaty. Other times it's going to be like just very quick. And men and women, I can't say for men because I've never felt it. It can be different. It can be longer. It can be more intense. Women can have multiple ones, different places. There's internal, external, like there's so many different ways. And some women can even have an orgasm with the breasts or just with touching and foreplay. So there's so many different topics, and I don't know if there's any questions or any comments. I'm not seeing the Facebook here, but I know I'm not seeing any on Zoom, so I'll keep going. The third thing is communication. So when it comes to wanting to have more sex, better sex, or to talk about what's the problem, make sure that you're in an environment that you're open to talk about it and don't attack. And sometimes, like, during is not the best time, especially if there's alcohol involved. And then I speak from experience, to try to talk to a guy that's never experienced pain or never experienced what a lady feels like, it's very difficult. So for me, the easiest thing was to write a letter and then take like the keywords from it and then just like sit down and say, like, I want to talk about this and I want to explain why. Like, you see the issue, but you don't see the reason why. And I want to give you the solution so we can work through this together. And then, you know, because if there's no communication and there's pain and there's all those feelings, then there's probably not going to have good sex. And so ask questions, you know, ask the questions in the right time. What feels the best? And then you can tell them what feels the best. And if you know that a certain time of the week you're not feeling like you want to be touched, just let them know, right? Some ladies, certain times of the week, we don't want to be touched or talked. Like, we're in a bitchy mood, right? And it can go the same for men too. There's probably time in your life, if you're experiencing stress at work or whatever conscious thing that might be happening in your mind that wants, like, it's very rare I see men being emotionally, I don't want to have sex, but I know that they're being more open now. But just try to communicate a little bit more. And other things to communicate, finding when's their preferred time. Like, do they prefer it in the morning, spontaneous in the middle of the afternoon, at night, whenever you can? Is it like after night, like you guys, after a certain activity you do? Like, the more you get to know and the more you position yourself to have that time, then the easier it's going to be. Don't always expect it to be perfect. That's something like anything in life. And knowing what feels best for you and for them can be definitely beneficial. So number 4 here on my list. So number 1 was emotional feelings and physical feelings. Number 2 was the factors that could stop your flame. Number 3 was the communication issue, which can be good or bad. Number 4 is date yourself. So this goes to anyone. Date yourself, your family, your kids, your pets, because you want to give yourself that feeling. Don't ever wait for someone to give you, honey, I'm giving you the night off. Your bath is ready. There's essential oils in it. There's the candles. There's a glass of champagne. And you know what? There's a massage therapist there waiting for you in your bathroom. And like, you know, like just that spa day or whatever puts you in the mood or relaxes you or makes you feel good. Do that for yourself. If you feel like, oh, I wish I'd have flowers or I wish I'd have rose petals, do it. Because if you want something and someone's not giving it to you, well, go and give it to yourself. I'm giving you permission to be happy. I bought myself flowers for the last 15 years. My husband started buying me flowers. It's very rare he does, but when he does, it means a lot. But I wanted them so much that I started buying myself some. And he started seeing me do that once in a while now he does. Now, I mean, I'm surrounded, I've got flowers, you don't see them, but they're all over. But that's just an example. It can be dress up for the day. Make yourself feel beautiful, especially if you know you have time with your date, with your person that night or the next day, and you want to feel good. You want to set yourself up for whenever the time is. Ways to help set the mood. Number 5. Like I said, flowers. I love flowers. Flowers makes me happy. So of course, if he comes to me and he could like cut a flowers from any of, like, I've got tons. Look, okay, there. That's just one corner. Oh, I lost my notes. But honestly, flowers and travel. So unless he surprises me with a trip here, right now we can't really travel, not far anyways. So just little things like that can make a huge difference. Candles, scent. If you diffuse, there's some essential oils, there's some candles, perfumes that can put some people in the mood. So if you do that little, it can be lavender just to relax. If you have essential oils you guys recommend, please let us know, because I'm not an expert on that, but I'm sure there's some that would be maybe more for men, ladies, to maybe put you in the mood. And then music. Music can also do that for you. Breathing, definitely. Healthy food. So if you're going to go on a date, at least have a salad or a soup or something that's not too heavy, that's not going to make you feel like lethargic afterwards. All right? Or have a bunch of appetizers over the night. That's what I would do. Or just don't eat. I'm just kidding, but you know what I mean. Avoid triggers. So for me, this is a big thing for me, because I used to be in a very abusive relationship. And in sex, there's certain places that you might be touched that might trigger you. If you grab me by the wrist, there's a big chance I'm going to push you very hard or even punch you. So, and I know in sex, a lot of people ties people up. If you would do that to me, that would be no, like that would make me go in a panic attack. That would bring me back childhood memories. That would really, it would not work for me. Some people might want to be tied up though. Some people might want to be grabbed by the wrist or grabbed by the hair and treated a little bit rough, and that's fine. Sometimes ladies love it that way. Just know if it's been somebody that's been abused before, it can be a trigger. So knowing the person's triggers can be huge. Having boundaries, and having a trigger word. So if you're somebody that might want to experience something more kinky or different, just have a different word that you know if it's too much, you can stop. And don't be ashamed. And you're allowed to. That's normal, okay? Harsh words for ladies, probably men too, but for me, mentally being abused, when you call me a few specific words, and I'm not saying my husband does, but sometimes couples fight and sometimes they say mean things, that's something you want to avoid. Use peak, I've mentioned that already. Affirmations. So maybe you're like, okay, I got to get this done. I worked all week. I've got so much on the list, and I just, oh my God, tomorrow is a birthday party and I got to plan this. And you know you were supposed to have sex, or you know you wanted to take some time off, and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'll just repush it and we'll wait till next week or whatever. Have affirmations all day about the person. Let them know how you're feeling. You can say, I love his body. I love this. I love her curves. I love all of that. And it's super important to do that, because your brain will be brainwashing you, whether you like it or not. So that's something that you really need to focus on, is affirmations about what you want, what you like, all right, about that person or about yourself, because most time you're self-conscious and that's stopping you. And if you're there thinking, well, they're seeing my dimples and they're seeing my cellulite and they're seeing this, or I have hair there, or whatever the issue might be, they're probably not even seeing that. They're probably seeing the beautiful person and soul that you are. And you just have to embrace that and be comfortable. And if you're really uncomfortable with your body, well, you usually can do something about it to make you feel comfortable about it. What else? Tools. Kegel muscles. Ladies, there's some little tools. Just a sec. Can you go for a walk, please? Alex? Please? No, but you're supposed to be away. Thank you. My son's there watching me and shaking his head, so I'm like, I need my space. Anyhow, and there's people going down the river in the canoe and that. I wonder, there must be like, what type of people are living there? Back to Kegels. So Kegels is something that has helped so many ladies, and especially after childbirth. And it can help you with the big O. It can help you to have it more intense. It can help you control it. It can help your partner feel you a lot more too, depending on if that's an issue, because there's different issues or reasons why a lady would want to be tighter down there. So that is something, if you don't know about Kegels, There's so many different exercises. There's even like the little tools you can buy and put them in there, which that could be kind of a thing to set you in the mood. Wear some Kegel balls that you can wear at work, and then you can just type and just have a good day. And I can guarantee you the relationship afterwards is going to be a lot more, because you've been teasing it all day in a way, and also strengthen it. So that might be a good tool. So guys, if your lady's never had those and you're looking for something to spice it up a little more, maybe surprise her with that, with Chinese balls, or I don't know. I think there's a few different words for them. Send the text notes, send some pictures, like during the day, if they're at work and you know they're going to be coming home at this time, get yourself ready and send maybe a little nice cute picture of your underwear, or maybe whatever you think that would speak their love language, right? Surprise them. Surprises are always fun. Say what you love about them. That is one thing that most people don't do enough of, right? Play some sensory games. There's some games that they sell, I mean, and there's different things and different, you can use your imagination. But I think getting to know, do you like a light touch? Do you like a more, rough touch? Do you like more like, do you even care if I give you a massage first? Like, because there's sometimes ladies can be like, let's just get straight to it, never mind kissing and doing all of that. And there's some other times they're like, I want to be romance. And I know ladies can be hard to understand, so I feel bad for men sometimes when it comes to that. But at the same time, with communication and respect, it can be beautiful. So hug daily. Having hugs can be a big thing. When you give a hug to someone, you're giving them your energy. And you can give them a little nibble on the ear, grab their butt, or just do a little rub your breast against them when you're doing them. Just a little to show them you love them and you want to have more touch from them. So it doesn't always need to be super sexual. Sometimes it can be just walking by and just touching someone and just making them feel good. Because the more you make them feel good, a little by little by little, the more, when it comes time, that both of you is going to be better, because your mind has been teased, let's just say. And be open for spontaneous sex if you have kids, if you are a busy person. Just, it's okay. And be open if it doesn't happen when you're supposed to have it happen. So with that being said, let me see here. A kiss on the forehead. Yes, that can be huge. All right, I wasn't even seeing the comments here. I apologize. All right, here. Let me see here. Oh man, I missed all the comments. I've been divorced 5 or so years and definitely become the initiator since, and I find there are more men out there looking for the FWB. What does that mean? For the forward? No? I'm French, so if somebody can explain that, but I'm sure it's just, I can't realize what it means. Medication has a big effect on sex life, definitely, for sure. I know, and it's medication and surgeries after childbirth and hormone too. After a big operation also, it definitely can happen. That can cut it right there. It's crazy what the mind can do in your body, and sometimes there's memory cells too. Like, your body will remember things that your mind might not remember, and when you go through something like a big surgery like that, it can be traumatic, and sometimes you don't even know why you're feeling like that. Unfortunately, there's so many divorces and so many couples that don't make it through because of lack of communication, and usually it's because of that, or money problems, or just sometimes, I mean, I don't know why people get divorced. There's so many different reasons, but I know communication and relationship can be huge. Dyspareunia, way more than hormones. Pelvic floor muscles, nerves, hormones, orthopedic issues, exactly. All of these can affect, so it's not just like a light switch on and off, like, and it's not just one book that like, oh, this is like that for that person, it means it's going to be like that for everyone. That's why you have to try different things, and that's why you have to stay open, patient, communication, respect, which can be hard because sometimes you just want to enjoy that time, right? Clary sage is great for relaxing and lightening. Ooh, I like that. That is amazing for sure. And smells can definitely be a trigger. I agree. Sometimes you can smell something, it can trigger you from a past memory, or it can turn you off, or it can do the opposite too. I just want everyone to know pelvic floor exercise are not for everyone, especially when pain is something you experience. Oh, well, thank you, Neva. Neva had to go. And I would love to have her on another one like this where she can talk more in depth about this, because I know we had lots of ladies that commented on my post about this before. And then Jamie said a kiss on the forehead. For sure, I totally agree. I would like to have you come back. Okay, that's what Leslie was saying. And when you're grieving also, it's not on your mind. That definitely too, different times in your life, you might be going through grieving, you might be going through a spiritual growth. Sometimes you're having, like, I know right now a lot of people have higher stress than usual. So that might be the last thing on your mind, or other people might abuse of it. Like I see people using sex as a drug too, so it can go both ways. That's more rare. It's usually more like, I don't want it. And then it creates tension and, of course. So what about the men? Do you guys want to add something? Or maybe we could do one, like, because I know I talked a lot about the ladies, and it's hard for me to explain the point of view of a guy when I'm not in a guy's body. I mean, I've hang out with men my whole life. I've been really open with them, and I know I know somehow how a mind work of a guy, but I definitely don't know everything. So feel free to share with us guys. And I know maybe a lot of you guys are going to watch on the replay. Does anyone on the Zoom have anything to add? Leslie, do you have anything you want to add? Do you want to share some, maybe comments, or do you have any tips on what we covered? I'm just checking on the Facebook group to see. It's been 6 minutes and I hear and see you. All right, thank you, Pamela. Perfect. Oh no, it's not live anymore. Okay, see, it stopped. So I'm glad I'm recording this. Oh, she's surrounded with family. Okay, well that's perfect. But what we'll do, I'm glad that we recorded it, and I'm glad that we actually have some people that got on with me and just shared. What we're going to do, we're going to cut this for now, because I just wanted to share these 5 little, it's not like topics only, but it's 5 things that I feel we should have talked about a little bit more. I wanted to add that there's a lot of shame around sex. There is, and there is about masturbation too. That was another topic I wanted to bring on also. And oh, you never in the mood, what is wrong with you? Yeah, so that can be in a relationship too, like playing the blaming game. And then I've seen, like, well, wait till you're in the mood, I'm not going to give it to you because you're not in the mood now. And then that can, like, go back and forth, right? Like, just sometimes it really comes down to communication, for real. Just do it, but it's not that easy. Exactly. No. And you can't just go out there and say, like, well, I'll just do it and whatever. And I mean, I know some people still do, but if it's not fun anymore and if it's forced, then you should maybe ask yourself how you can make it fun. And, like, being able to take life's problems that's happening right now in your mind and putting them in a little box just for, I mean, how long is sex going to be? Unless your husband or person, like, wants to have an all-nighter and, like, feel like college kids all over again or whatever, right? But usually, most times, especially if you have kids around, it's going to be a quickie. It's not going to be longer than an hour, maybe. And I'm not speaking from experience, or just for, I mean, just saying. That's usually what I hear. It's 15, 20, 30 minutes average, 5 minutes for some, depending, but it's not like it's going to take the rest of your life. But at the same time, if you do it forced, so sometimes you have to give or take. Sometimes you have to ask yourself, could I do something to put myself in the mood right now? Or Like if I'm turning him or her down, like how can I do it in a way without making them feel rejected? Because we have to look at both ways. If you're like, I'm not in the mood, I just had a big day at work, the other person isn't hearing about how you're tired. They're hearing and feeling you say, no, I don't want you. And even if that's not what you're saying, that's what the communication is doing, because you're saying no. And sometimes you just have to, like I said, communicate more. I recommend everyone watching Goop Lab episode around sex. I've never watched that, but we'll put that in the comments on Facebook, Leslie. So we'll definitely suggest, and I'll go watch that for sure. And if you have on Netflix, awesome. If you have any tips or anything's experience or any like she did videos and stuff like that, feel free to share in the comments, because this is a topic so many people don't talk about. This is a topic that could help so many relationships, and especially men and women. Like I even feel like we need to do like a session for the men and the session for the ladies, because we're different, but we're the same in a way. But men has been characterized in a certain way to be strong and tough and no feelings, for a long time, and now it's different. So now we see ladies romancing men. We see men liking spa days and a hot bath. Like you wouldn't have seen that in the 50s and the 40s. Like it's different, and sex is always changing. So really good teaching women how to explore their bodies. Oh, that's awesome, because I think that a lot of us, we just see what's in the mirror, and sometimes we feel what others are doing to us, and we don't take time to ourselves feel like. And when it comes to especially the woman's orgasm, it doesn't only just start down there. It can start at the tip of the fingers. It can start as a little whisper. It can start like just with how you look at her or him. So think about that next time that you want to have that great sex with the person that you want to have it with. If it's just a stranger, then that's different. I'm talking more relationship here. And I have nothing against people that aren't in relationships that has consensual sex, because I've been there in my young days, and I've had crazy experiences, and some I regret. I mean, everyone has a past, but I've learned the difference with love. And when I was young, I thought I was not going to be loved, so I was having intercourse without love. So for me, I was able to distract myself from that and able to accept it. No kissing, no things like that. When I met my husband, it got very hard for me to open up and to love and to have real, and not just sex, not just, something meaningful. So I had to step back and open up and become a wife and learn all these things. So I think my little one just came outside. So with that all being said, I think it's super important that we look at this more. Ask yourselves those questions, and don't be afraid of asking the other one too. Like, what do you like best? Like, have you ever asked that to the person you're with? Like, what makes you get shivers? Like, is there something, a place in your body that's more sensitive? And try that. Like, put a scarf or something on your eyes and have someone just touch you with some lotion or with no lotion, with some different, like, do you prefer cream massage lotion or an oil one? Do you prefer the little feather? Do you prefer a little whip? Some people like that. Do you prefer me to massage you very soft, or to really go into your muscles without hurting, right? Do you want me to touch your hair? Do you want me to grab your hair? Like, those things like that. And don't get to the end. Like the orgasm at the end is not the only thing that's important. And it goes a long way. So let me see here. Ways to be intimate without intercourse. My husband has a very bad back and it is painful for him. That definitely could be an issue. I would say like things like chairs, and like I know there was like swings and different things like that. That could be, maybe he would be standing up instead, or different. But but there's definitely ways, and I'm not sure where. Maybe Neva or maybe even somebody else watching would have like a specific video or specific blog or something for that. But yeah, for sure, painful bath. And I mean, sometimes you can think like, well, let's go in the bathtub or let's go in the shower to have warm water, depending. And you also don't want to injure yourself because that's not fun either. So it goes with communication and using your imagination too. And it can probably be more work for you than and there's always ways of making it work, but communication and then just finding out what feels best, and especially you don't want to injure someone else. So I really think that we should have Neva come on to do for that specific topic like what we discussed about. And with that being said, I've done everything on my list on top of my head. So, and I know that we're not live on Facebook anymore, so I will end this unless there was a question or something else to add. Is there a specific topic you guys would like to touch up on when we do the next part? Because we just touched the tip of the iceberg. And I know a lot of times we could go on and on and on and talk a lot today, but I want to keep that for next time. So just check in here if we have anything. And I think that we covered a lot of different things, and it was like more basic today, but we needed to have this conversation to open up and then go into a little bit deeper, let's just say more adults. And next time I definitely won't have my son walking around me, making me feel a little bit uncomfortable here. But that's one thing also. I want to be open with my kids. I mean, I'm not giving him this sex talk at 10, but I think it's super important that like they see the parents giving some attention to one another. They know the parents need some time off and together. Like he even joked last year about us making love to have the baby because he knows I had a baby. So, and that's something for me that I was hidden. I was never talked about sex when I was young. So I'm thinking that you have to be somewhat open at a certain point with your kids. I was so clueless about all of it that when I learned about it at 13, 14, I kind of did like a 180, and I did a lot of things that parents don't want a 13, 14-year-old girl doing. So I'm not saying if my parents would have been more open, but I had to learn from a guy a lot of things I wish that a lady would have taught me or told me about. So if I ever have a daughter, and even both my sons will know about their body and about a lady's body before it's time for them to even think about it. But that's just me. I'm very open with my kids because that's something that I feel is important. And I'd rather me teach it than somebody else that I have no idea what they're going to teach them, and to respect. So many cultures and religion, they don't talk about it and it doesn't exist. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy because if you have kids, then you've had sex. And I know that it's, some people just use it for that and that's it. Like no pleasure, like just your baby maker and that's it. Like I'll pregnant you and go and do that. I'm glad I'm not there. And if you are in those religions, I don't know. Is it terrible if I say I'm sorry? Because I don't think that that should be something that people are deprived of. And I mean, it's so good for your body. It's so good for your health. It's so good for your brain. Do you know how relaxed you are after? You know how much, like, is it the serotonins? What are the hormones that gets released when someone has an orgasm? Like that right there is an antidepressant. And if you're using a bunch of pills that is stopping you from having that, then not saying to stop taking pills, but when I stopped taking my medications, my body and brain got clearer and I was able to start feeling again. And that's when I started wanting more. Because for a while I thought I was 25, no feelings anymore. I thought I'm done. my what is it, midlife crisis or whatever. Like I'm like, no, I'm done. That's it. And really it was just the medication and my surroundings and my mindset. So that plays a huge role. Oxytocins. Yeah. And not just that, there's so many different ones too, but that for sure. And then alcoholism, drinking too much, that's another thing. For me, if my husband's drank too much and he's sloppy, no, I'm sorry, but go to bed. I'll talk to you. Maybe you'll be lucky tomorrow morning, but I just can't, because I'm not. It's like I smoke weed. If I would be way too high, like so high, that wouldn't turn him on too. So you have to communicate and know, and that's just the way it is. And I'm being very open about it. I'm sure my husband will be shaking his head and being very shy, but it's the truth, and that's what this group is all about. So we're going to keep sharing more, and hopefully it's going to help you guys. But thank you for being here today and sharing that with us, and listening to me. Next time we'll have it more interactive. I know a lot of people are not here today because it's Father's Day. So happy Father's Day, everyone. Get back to your family. Hoping that this has helped a little bit. And when we do the next one, we will give you guys at least a week of notice ahead, not just 2 days, because this was a little bit too quick in the last minute. So happy end of the month, and we will see you on Facebook. Thank you, everyone. Talk to you guys later.